arrived at my fiancé's house the night before our wedding, feeling so happy. But as soon as I got to the door, the night before what was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, I found myself standing at his front door. In my hand, I held my bouquet, and my wedding gown was carefully tucked under my arm. I was meticulously rehearsing the radiant smile I intended to surprise him with. Instead, I was the one who was completely taken aback. Just as my hand was about to make contact with the door, I overheard his voice, low and laced with nervousness. "She trusts me completely," he said. My hand froze midair. His father's voice, calm and full of certainty, followed. "Good. Tomorrow she brings her inheritance into this house. After the ceremony, it's ours. All of it." I couldn't breathe. I couldn't even blink. Then, his mother chimed in, her laughter soft, as if this was nothing more than a private family joke. "She thinks she's marrying for love. Poor girl. Poor foolish girl." That's when it hit me. That poor foolish girl was me. The weight of those words pressed into my chest, sharper and more painful than glass. My knees felt weak, threatening to give out beneath me. But instead of bursting inside and screaming, I retreated into the shadows. I let the silence envelop me, and in that silence, I found my salvation. Because while rage often screams, revenge only ever whispers. We had met 2 years prior at a charity gala in New York. He, Finn, was a force of nature, magnetic and polished, with every move seemingly rehearsed yet charmingly effortless. I was captivated, naive enough to genuinely believe in a storybook romance. He smiled at me as if I were the only person in the room, and for a while I let myself believe it. He committed to memory my favorite books, the precise way I take my coffee, and even the unique cadence of my laugh. It felt like true intimacy, but now I understand it was merely reconnaissance. He proposed to me under the ancient oak tree behind my family's estate. I cried tears of joy, said yes, and truly believed in forever. That evening, my parents toasted to our future, raising their glasses with profound pride. They are no longer with us, and with them rests the significant fortune he was so eager to steal. The warning signs were always there, subtle cracks in his facade. His phone was always face down. He would have hushed conversations he would quickly dismiss as just being about work. The way his eyes would light up, not when he saw me, but when I spoke about my parents' will. I always brushed these things off. I wanted to trust him. I needed to. But the truth is not concerned with what we need. It reveals itself when you are least prepared for it, just as it did for me at his front door the night before the wedding. I didn't flee. I didn't call the wedding off. That would have been too merciful. A betrayal of this magnitude deserves a consequence far greater. I sat in my car all that night, my hands gripping the steering wheel, my breath coming in measured counts. My rage slowly transformed into something much more potent, a chilling clarity. They believed I was weak and blind. I would let them continue to believe that. Their colossal mistake would become my greatest weapon. At the first hint of dawn, I called my lawyer and methodically altered my will and adjusted my financial accounts. What had been rightfully mine became completely untouchable. When he married me the next day, Finn would inherit nothing but the weight of his own betrayal. But even that, I decided, was not enough. Money, after all, is merely replaceable. Pride, however, is a different matter entirely. The ceremony was nothing short of perfect. White roses, the soft glow of candlelight, and the elegant strains of a string quartet filled the air. Finn gazed at me with that same carefully practiced adoration, and I returned his look with a smile, so sweet that no one could have possibly suspected. I was sharpening a blade on the inside. We signed the marriage documents, exchanged our rings, and the guests erupted in cheers. Carter and Amelia clapped like victors, blissfully unaware that the war had already been lost. The reception was the place I chose to deliver my final blow. The champagne had been poured, and the speeches were about to begin. When it was my turn, I stood at the head of the table, a glass held firmly in my hand, my veil gently brushing against my cheek. My heart was completely steady. "I want to thank everyone for being here tonight," I began, my voice smooth and calm, "and most of all my new husband, who has shown me the true meaning of partnership." Finn's smile was far too confident. So confident, I continued, that last night he told his parents exactly how he planned to take everything my family left me. How today, once I said I do, he would finally get what he wanted. The room fell into a stunned silence. My words cut through the music, the laughter, and the clinking glasses. Finn froze, his smile collapsing as his eyes darted around wildly. Carter and Amelia stiffened, their faces pale and exposed. I pulled a folded paper from my dress. What he doesn't know is that the accounts have been transferred, the estate secured, and what he wanted no longer exists. A collective gasp rippled through the guests. Cameras flashed. Our friends, colleagues, and business partners were all witnesses. Finn's carefully constructed empire of lies crumbled in real time. I leaned closer to him, my voice low and meant only for him. You should have whispered softer. Walls have ears, he stammered, attempting to form a response. But the words tangled hopelessly in his throat. Carter and Amelia stood, furious yet powerless, as the eyes of every guest burned into them. A mix of judgment, disgust, and pity. As for me, I simply sat back down, calm and collected, with a faint smile on my lips. I was the bride who had given her groom exactly what he deserved. By midnight, the guests were gone and the house was silent. Finn tried to confront me, begging at first, and then resorting to threats. None of it mattered. I had already filed for an annulment. By morning, he would be a husband for less than a day, a groom without a bride and a thief without his prize. He finally asked me why. Why not just walk away quietly? He demanded. Why humiliate me? I looked him straight in the eye and gave him the unvarnished truth. Because you weren't just after my money. You were after me, my trust, my love. That's what you truly broke, and that is what I took back tonight. Now, as I write these words, my wedding gown hangs in the corner of the room. It's still white and still perfectly beautiful, but it no longer feels like a symbol of love. Instead, it feels like a piece of armor. It is proof that even the softest fabric can serve as a shield for a sharpened will. I have no regrets. Not about the public reveal, not about the annulment, and certainly not about the look on Finn's face when he realized the trap had closed around him. The night before my wedding, I thought I was walking into a dream. Instead, I walked directly into the truth, and the truth is simple. He planned to own me, but in the end, I was the one who owned him.